Does this count as a trilogy or? Welcome back, fellow movie lovers, to another video of Everything Movies. I'm your host, Jefferson Coe, and today I will be reviewing Sonic 3. Alright, so Sonic 3, or Sonic the Hedgehog 3, was directed by Jeff Fowler, and this director directed all three Sonic movies, which is really, really good. I love when a trilogy can stay consistent with their directors, because the most recent example that I can think of, the Deadpool movies, each of those movies have different directors and each of them have different types of feels to those movies. I'm not saying that there's nothing bad about those movies, but they lack consistency. And these movies, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, they all kind of feel the same. It's like Jeff Fowler had figured out his formula for these movies, and he was able to create good structure and then build upon each of those movies and make money. They make money. And so I would say each movie got better and better. I haven't seen the first one in full. I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but I watched the second one all the way through, and I for sure knew that the second one was better than the first, in my humble opinion. And then I watched this third one and I was like, yeah, no, this is even better than the second one. So I will say that he's learning from the audience reactions, and he's improving along the way. And that's what I like to see in most movies. And this one in particular really did that. Now, as far as the plot of this film, it is like there's higher stakes for sure. So it starts us off where Sonic is, well, he doesn't know, but they're celebrating his birthday. It's all very, very peaceful until governmental officials come and visit them. At this point in the story, Sonic is cool with the government and the government is cool with Sonic, as long as they help each other out to solve whatever problem that the world is having at the moment. And at this moment, there is a new villain, the villain that looks very similar to Sonic, and a lot of Sonic fans would know him as Shadow. Shadow was actually being contained by, the government, and he bust out. So now the government is like, we need your help, Sonic. And Sonic is like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna go help. And that's where the story kind of takes off. It's kind of just like every other movie. Sonic is at the beginning. He goes on an adventure. He's peaceful at the beginning. He goes on an adventure, and then he learns a lesson, and then he's peaceful at the end. And that's basically how this movie went, except that, the stakes just get higher and higher. I don't want to talk too much more about the plot, but let's just say it built upon from the second movie, and it just took everything that the second movie had and just raised everything to the top. The action was much better. Comedy was even over the top. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, that's really what I know him as a kid. I think I played one Sonic game as a kid growing up, and I just only knew him as Dr. Eggman. I didn't actually know that his actual name was Robotnik or something like that. So I'm new. Like I said, I'm not that big of a Sonic fan, but I'm just learning as I go. But Dr. Eggman, played by Jim Carrey, that man is hilarious. And the reason why I came to see this movie is partially because of him and how well he did in that performance in the second film. So I gotta give him his props, because this time around he had to play two versions of him, and it was a crazy plot point, but I'm glad that they added it. He also showed some emotional appeal to his character as well. And speaking of the emotion, I feel like that is where the story is strong at, but then it also lacks at the same time. Because like I said, the story is very action-packed. It's very funny. You're gonna laugh throughout the entire time. And then it has this emotional beats. It knows when to be funny, and then it knows when to get serious, especially when it comes to the fights. The fights, you're like, oh my God, you're scared for people to get hurt or even get killed off. That is where the strength lies, and where the film lies in its strength. But when it comes to emotional beats, I feel like the only character that really, really got good service when it comes to emotions and the things that they were going through is Shadow. Shadow was the antagonist of the film. However, we really get to know his motives behind how he feels and what he does throughout the movie, and we learn about his background and all of this stuff, and we learn how he feels inside. I feel like other characters just did not get that. especially like the ones that were like really important in the beginning of this franchise. Like in Sonic 1, his human friends were like, they had a lot of screen time, and there was a moment in this film where I felt like they should have shined a little bit more. Like something really crazy happened, and I'm just like, this is their moment. Why aren't we getting a little bit more drama or a little bit more emotional appeal out of these characters? But I have to remember, like, this is just catered towards kids. It has they know the audience is for kids. And so, but in my mind, I'm also thinking, like, I grew up with How to Train Your Dragon. I grew up with Toy Story. Like, well, everybody grew up with Lion King. But we know how to take harsh things that happens in the stories. Like, I think that kids movies shouldn't be afraid to like dive into certain emotions. Like Inside Out does a really good job at it. Like they're okay with, like, their whole thing about Inside Out is about emotions, and they're not afraid to show it. And I feel like there was a moment in this film where one character in particular could have, you know, dipped the toe into a little bit of like spite or spitefulness towards Sonic, and I just feel like they didn't show it partially because that human character didn't have as much screen time. But I would have liked to see it in this movie, and it would have added a little bit more drama into the mix, because they already had drama for Shadow, but that was it. Like, that was all the drama that we got when it comes to Shadow's backstory. Everything else is just action and comedy, and that's basically what this whole entire movie is, from a person that's not really that big on the Sonic franchise. Like I'm like I said, I didn't grow up with, you know, playing all the Sonic games, watching all the Sonic shows, getting the Sonic toys. I didn't do any of that. I just had one little video game, and that was as much knowledge of Sonic that I knew going into this movie, besides the second movie too. Other than that, I feel like this film was really fun, really entertaining, and I highly suggest you to go watch it if you are, one, a Sonic fan, or two, an action adventure fan. Overall, I would give this film maybe a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 because you know, it's probably higher for other people, but like I said, that's just my preference over the film. They missed. Would have liked some of that drama to be in there just a little bit from like the characters that have been there since day one, not just from a brand new character, you know. But I am glad that they have been doing so well with this franchise, and I hope to see more. I don't really consider this as a complete trilogy, because it's like it ends with the end credits scene, and I'm like, well, I thought most trilogies usually, you know, first movie, second movie, third movie, and that's it. But this one is like, no, we're gonna have more, and they let us know like there's gonna be more coming. So I'm excited to see what they have next, and that is all I have to say about this video. That is all I have to say within this video. And if you like what you see here, just drop a like, subscribe, and put on the notification bell for the next video that I drop, and I'll be waiting for you here to watch the next movie. I think the next movie I'm not sure yet, but I definitely will have it dropped very soon. Thanks again for watching. I'm your host, Jefferson Coe, and I'll see you all next time.